All right, today we're going to have a lesson on forming a hypothesis using the scientific method. Now, the scientific method has to be something that we can observe, that we can measure, and that we can do again. So it has to be repeatable. And these are some steps to the scientific method. You can ask a question, and when you have that question in your mind and you're thinking about it, then you can construct a hypothesis. In other words, this is what I think. When I ask this question, this is what I think is going to happen. This is my hypothesis. Then you have to test your hypothesis with an experiment. You can analyze the results and draw a conclusion. And you can see, did my hypothesis work out? Was it true? Or did my hypothesis not work out, and is it false or partially true? Then you can report your results. We're going to make a paper airplane. And this paper airplane is going to be made out of the same kind of paper, so they'll be exactly the same in their weight. But you can do different things to them. You can color them and decorate them. You may want to put some paper clips on one, because we're going to make two. So you may want to do something to the second one, and then you're going to form your hypothesis. If I put paper clips on this airplane, then what's going to happen to it? Is it going to fly faster, further, drop to the ground? You see what I'm talking about as far as forming a hypothesis? So then you're going to test it. You're going to take your airplanes and fly them. Now we want to be careful, because airplanes do, when you make paper and you fold it, it can have a very sharp point, and we don't want that to injure anybody, puncture them, or hit them in the eye. So be careful where you fly your airplanes, okay? We're going to take our airplanes. I'm going to give you each 2 pieces of paper and some materials. You can have some tape, you can have some staples, or you can have some things that you would like to use that we have up here to make your airplanes, one of your airplanes, different. When we go back and we construct our airplanes, we're going to formulate our question. And you're going to write your question down about what you think is going to happen to the airplane that you put something on. And Christy, you have made yours very streamlined. That's a very streamlined airplane. And you have decided that your question is going to be, for your hypothesis, is what happens if I put some paper clips on the back of the plane? Will it make it fly faster or fly straighter? So we're going to see what happens when you work through your hypothesis. Okay, Jana, we said you have to ask a question, construct your hypothesis, and then we're going to test it with the experiment. Now, what was your hypothesis?
My hypothesis was if you throw with your right hand, if it would go further than throwing the plane with your left hand.
Okay, so you're going to test that out. You're going to throw 5 of them with your left hand and 5 of them with your right hand. So you can be sure, and you're going to write down that data so that you can analyze those results and draw a conclusion to whether your hypothesis is true or your hypothesis is false. Jana, now that you have finished your results, what conclusion did you draw from your experiment?
For my experiment, I drew the conclusion that throwing with your right hand, the airplane goes further than throwing with your left hand.
Okay, so would you say that your hypothesis is true then?
Yes.
Okay, so now then you would be able to take all the things that you have learned from your experiment, your hypothesis proved to be true, and you could graph those on a graph, and that's what we're going to do next, okay? Christy's hypothesis was that if she put a paper clip on the back of her plane, that it would go further than the plane without the paper clip. Now, when Christy did hers, she found out that it has a lot to do with the way you throw it, because the first time she threw it, it came, and the one without the paper clip kind of made a loop and came back. The other one went a long ways. But the second time she threw them, they both went a long ways. So it can have a lot to do with how you are holding the plane and how you're throwing it. So, Christy, would your hypothesis have been true, or would your hypothesis have been false?
False.
It's false. That's correct. So you can now graph your results also. Now that you have graphed your results, and we've looked at the graphs together and talked about them, I want you to get your scientific journals out, and I want you to write about half a page about what you have just learned about the airplanes, okay? And flying them, and about the question that you asked, how you constructed your hypothesis, how you tested it, what the results were, whether your hypothesis was true or false, and write that up in a little report. About half a page will do. All right, thank you.